It's time to talk about my transplant. It's been a bit more than 10 months after my second hair transplant with Dr. Bruno Ferreira in Portugal, and today I wanted actually to share with you guys what actually currently happening right now with my transplant. Something that is not really that great. I started experiencing some, shedding, some excessive shedding. Whenever I'm taking a shower, I'm shampooing my hair, and I've got like my hands are full of hair. Before that, it was like, used to be like 2, 3, 5 maybe hairs, and that's it. Right now it's like easily 20, 30, even 40 full hands, and then it's like the whole bath is full of hairs as well. And afterwards, when I'm towel drying it as well, it's quite a lot of them, and like stays in the towel. When I was looking closer into it, there are actually two types of hair, like a thinner type of hair and a thicker. Thinner ones, they're not as long, so they're most likely my native miniaturized hair that are hanging in there basically. Because of finasteride and oral minoxidil that I'm taking. And to be fair, I've got quite a lot of them in my mid-scalp and crown. It's actually expected for them to keep shedding, because their hair growth cycles, the anagen phase, they're not really that long. For the last couple of years, I noticed they're shedding like in intervals for around 8 months to 10 months, and they shedding, they not growing for a couple of months, they start growing again, and then after 8 to 10 months they start shedding once again. And partially it might be the reason why I'm experiencing this excessive shedding for the last, I would say, 5 weeks probably. However, on the flip side, some of these hairs, they look actually pretty strong, like pretty thick and dark. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that I was normal with 5A. I had almost nothing on top. Mid scalp and crown had quite a few hairs, but they were really miniaturized and really thin. So you could tell the difference between donor thick hair and miniaturized thin hair, my native hair. So I think it's safe to assume that this hair, they're most likely transplanted or coming from the donor area. Actually, now that I think about it, it might be from the donor area, because they're not that long. Maybe it is actually a part of a normal cycle. I have no idea when my donor area was shedding last time. Anyways, it's still possible that it's actually transplanted hairs. They're in various lengths. Some of them they're shorter and thick, some of them they're longer. So actually I got a little bit worried. Of course, I'm of all people should understand hair growth cycles and how everything works, that I've got severe hair loss, even though I'm on finasteride, it still can happen. I still can progress further, and I was actually expecting it nonetheless, but it still freaked me out. In the first couple of weeks I was telling to myself, whatever, just shedding, nothing, nothing major. But as the weeks went by, it's like I keep seeing this hair in the shower, in the bath, in my hands. I was like, even on the desk, like where I'm eating or working, I see like some random 2, 3 hairs here and there. And there you go. Just I picked one. Let me switch this. Have a look. I just picked one here. Where's the camera? This one. I don't know, this hair, it looks like it might be a miniaturized. It doesn't really look that thick. Let me switch it back. Boom. All right, really awkward to zoom in with my phone. I'm not using any special camera. So when you think about it, damn, I had all this transplant, cover all over the top, and god damn it, is it shedding again? I'm gonna lose everything? Well, I'm hoping I will not. It's probably just a normal hair cycle. Plus, I'm using quite often, some hair products like right now, to style my hair, and I actually really enjoy it, really like it. You can, by the way, check out my Instagram for some more, pictures and videos for that if you're curious. And whenever I'm using the hair products, obviously, like I managed to pull out, some hairs here and there, it's either with the comb or when with my hand, and whatnot. So it's actually like normal. So the problem is if I start ripping off these hairs, every day with a product or whatever, slowly, my transplant will look thinner, because it takes quite a long time for hair to actually grow to certain, length, to good length. If you don't have much of them, like I do, every single hair counts. And anyways, if you look closer in the places like hairline, for example, in the very front even, there are some hairs that are much shorter, which means they either shed like quite a few months ago, or maybe I pulled them out again and they just, keep growing. So we'll see what's gonna happen in the near future. I'll of course make sure to update you guys on this. And if you're curious just like me to find out what's basically gonna happen, make sure to subscribe to the channel, so you stay tuned for that. Another thing I quickly wanted to touch upon, one guy asked me in the comments quite a while actually. He wanted to know how my transplant looks like under like direct light, like in a, you know, restaurant or like a gym or whatnot, when there's a direct light like directly on top of my head, you know, shining like a really strong artificial light. Although I'm always showing my transplant in various light conditions and angles as well. And you know what, I said, why not? I was the other day in the gym and that was exactly the kind of light that I assumed this person was looking for. Just a quite big, strong direct light, not really that, you know, far from my from my head. And yeah, the ceiling was pretty low. And of course, simply because it's a transplant, you can kind of see through a little bit, if it makes sense. You're gonna shining through, but my head is really long, so you really, like, you don't see through except only where the hairline is. That's the only place where you can kind of see a little bit of a like lack of density, if it makes sense. Of course, other people that have thicker hair, they might get away with, you know, with this, because for example, I had in my hairline between 50 and 60 grafts per centimeter square implanted, but my hair is very thin. And other people that have between, you know, 50 and 60 grafts per centimeter square implanted in the hairline, but the hair shaft diameter is, for example, 80 microns, unlike mine is 50. They might get away with, you know, this, and it might even not look see-through, like, you know, in my case. But anyways, that's the only really area that you can kind of see, but again, you need to actually look at specific angles. So if I'm sitting in front of like a shorter person and there's a direct light, I think they might see something odd in there. But rest assured, I'm really not worried about it. It actually looks pretty decent. I really like my transplant, and especially considering from where I've started, I was Norwood 5'8", just mind-blowing, to be honest. I'm extremely happy I've got hair to style. And as I mentioned, the shedding might be due to, you know, medications like I'm taking finasteride and oral minoxidil. So make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay tuned on my oral minoxidil update, which I'm gonna be doing really soon, hopefully next week. And if you're trying to find the best clinic for your case, make sure to check out this video. It's gonna help you a lot. Stay tuned.